Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Sallie Glassman, voodoo priestess and co-chair of the New Orleans Healing Center, and so much more. And there'll be a symposium on water, a Halloween party and parade, and all that takes place tomorrow. We'll hear more about it. Great to see you. Hello.
Hey.
Poppy Tooker with an exclamation point, host of the WWNO radio program Louisiana Eats. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hey,
hello.
Peg.
And back with us once again, we're so glad, John Desplas, artistic director of the New Orleans Film Festival, and of course it kicked off last night, but 25 years. Congratulations.
Still going.
Still going. And Alan Smason, editor of the online Crescent City Jewish News. Hello, Mr. Allen.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. But first up, Miss Poppy.
So much varied food things to talk about this week. First of all, breakfast at Restaurant Revolution.
Ooh.
You know, they have not been serving breakfast. That's been served in another part of the Sonesta and hasn't necessarily been anything really special. This is special. This is happening Monday through Saturday, 6:30 in the morning until 11 a.m. And we've got some pictures of some breakfast dishes that make me hungry. How about the breakfast revolution? I would like to have a breakfast revolution. It's poached eggs, sugar-cured ham, a sweet corn biscuit, and a sriracha hollandaise. Oh, then how about egg sardou? Look at this. Hollandaise, artichoke, absinthe, and you can add fried oysters or lump crab meat. And the strawberry pan perdue. If you get a sweet tooth, that'll take care of it. So this is taking place at, of course, John Folse and Rick Tremonto's place in the Royal Sonesta. On Sunday, they will serve this breakfast from 7 a.m. until 10:30, and then at 10:30 until 2 p.m., there's a jazz brunch. So this is really a place to start your day. At 6:30 in the morning, it's almost like breakfast at Brennan's? I wonder if we're going to see that soon. I have a feeling it's coming to a neighborhood near us. Now, out in Metairie, Cafe B is having an extraordinary happy hour. For the months of October and November, Monday through Saturday, 3 p.m., this is no happy hour, it's a happy evening. 3 p.m. until closing. If you sit at the bar, you get 50-cent oysters served with their 3 signature sauces, honey jalapeno mignonette, preserved lemon salsa verde, and a classic hollandaise sauce. And half off all cocktails, wine, and beer by the glass, 3 p.m. till closing at Cafe B. You have to sit at the bar. That's the only stipulation.
Some people like to sit at the bar, though.
Everybody I know loves eating at the bar sometimes. That's really where the action is. And if you're by yourself, it's extra fun. Now, another interesting new development. People in New Orleans are probably not familiar with something called a growler. And a growler is a very happening thing in the rest of the country. There are these jugs that you take, they fill them up in various places, and it's Pearl Wine Company that started the growler program. And on tap, they fill up your growler, see how big that is, and it's really a great deal. You buy the glass growler for $6.99, and it's yours to keep. And then they've got Parish Brewing's Canebrake and Crooked Letter Mystery Rump Coffee Porter, both on tap. And if you do the math on what you're paying for the beer in the growler, it's like you're getting a free pint in each growler. Plus, everybody should remember at the American Can Company, where the Pearl Wine Company is, free wine tastings every Friday and every Thursday when the market's going on, the farmer's market, from 5 until 7 p.m.
There has been a lot of energy infused into Pearl Wine. Of course, it was cork and bottle, and there's always a happening there.
Leora is doing great things. There's food trucks there. There's a great cocktail program. Let's get this show over and get over to the American Can. You want to go, Peg?
Sounds
Let's
good.
go.
Thank you. And we turn to Sallie Ann. And oh my goodness, tomorrow is going to be a day of some serious stuff, but a lot of fun too. But let's talk about the Water Symposium first.
Okay, well, first of all, tomorrow is our 7th annual Anba Halloween Festival. And Anba, in case anybody doesn't know, in addition to being the most difficult name in the world to pronounce for a festival, means beneath the water in Haitian Creole. And it's our 7th annual festival, but it's our 3rd annual water symposium during the day from noon until 4 o'clock.
So all kinds of experts talking about water. And
serious scientists from around the world who are all focused on New Orleans, and a lot of our local brains as well. And New Orleans is really kind of the canary in the mine for all the problems that we're facing on the coastline of the entire country and in the world with water rising and with subsidence, and the combination is pretty deadly for us, as most of us know. So there are going to be 3 different panels that are going to discuss what happens if the scientists are right, and where will we be in 50 years, 300 years, 100 years.
And I know your husband, Press, has been very, very involved with this for many years.
Well, certainly, as somebody who cares deeply about the city, we want to see it survive, and we want to see us all being able to live here.
And then later in the day, lots of fun.
Well, because the water situation is so dire, we need a way to kind of take in that information without going home weeping at the end of the day. So we have this completely over-the-top, multimedia, costumed extravaganza during the night. It kicks off with a parade that leaves from Franklin and Royal at 6 o'clock and is led by the Radical Fairies, and we've got 5 different women's marching groups and a band called Bacha Bunda, which is a Brazilian street band.
Look at you.
Ooh, girl. That's me as a mermaid. And we have to come up with a new mermaid costume in the next 24 hours. But we've got 14 bands and DJs and acrobats and an amazing auction with everything from hyperbaric treatments from Harch Hyperbarics to Rodrigue paintings and
wow.
So lots of great stuff that people can pick up. There's a costume contest, and we have a voodoo ceremony, and we unveil at midnight a brand new mermaid fountain in the lobby of the Healing Center, which I have seen, and it's spectacular. It's a really beautiful one this year.
Well, it is incredible how the Healing Center has become quite the anchor and really kind of also a way to encourage more development along St. Claude. You've got to be really proud of that.
It's really a magical experience for me. My husband, Press, is very used to developing neighborhoods and revitalizing neighborhoods. I've never seen it in action, and I thought as a voodoo priestess I had all the magic. But watching the development on the street and watching it transform has been really an uplifting experience. And people coming to the center for the first time or returning to the center at Anba really get a treat. It's a neighborhood to discover, and it's a street
well, you've got Cafe Istanbul, Fatouche, and there's also a shop, a little market in there too, isn't there?
The little market's gone, actually.
Oh, no.
But,
so things come and go.
Now we have Ricky Pustanio's incredible, fantastical Mardi Gras float designs for Mid-City Mardi Gras floats are all in our lobby. We're going to have a lounge in there. We'll also have a VIP mermaid lounge on the rooftop where you can, in addition to having complimentary food and drink and getting some rest from the mayhem down below, you can also have a massage, you can have your face painted, and you can have your cards read.
Groceries downstairs too, right?
Yeah, the New Orleans Food Co-op. There are 25 different businesses in the Healing Center, and they're all really thriving, and it's a really varied and exciting, diverse community, and all about healing, and tomorrow it'll be all about healing the water.
Well, congratulations. We're excited for you. And speaking of being excited, 25 years, John Desplas, and you were there at the beginning, and so was... Don Marshall and Andy Horton. Just very quick, because I know we want to talk about today, but how did all this begin?
Well, it was sort of like, we actually put together a little documentary that we showed last night in front of the opening night film, and it was really like the old Andy Rooney, Mickey Rooney, Andy Rooney, Mickey Rooney, Judy Garland thing. Wouldn't it be fun to put on a show? I always say it's more like Citizen Kane. Wouldn't be fun to run a newspaper? But it was really Don Marshall and Andy Horton
who used to teach film at UNO
right,
a long time ago.
And Don was head of
Le Petit
and
CAC.
CAC.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what they were doing. I mean, that's accurate. No one knew what they were doing. I mean, no one had any idea about the film business. I mean, you don't just decide, oh, we want to show this film. No. There's distributors. There are people who are worried about the marketing of the film. And none of us knew that at the beginning. And so the first few years were really a learning experience.
Well, congratulations. And I know there were other folks involved too, but I remember you all being very passionate, and you continue to be involved and be their institutional memory. But let's talk about the next few days.
Well, we have films everywhere practically, and one of the big films is Imitation Game, which is about Alan Turing. It's a biopic about Alan Turing, who's considered sort of the father of the computer, and he was instrumental in breaking the codes that were thought to be unbreakable of Germany's Enigma machine during World War II. He had a very tragic life. Back then, England was prosecuting people for their sexuality, and he was thrown into jail and met a tragic end. But the film is wonderful. Benedict Cumberbatch, who plays Sherlock Holmes on PBS, plays Alan Turing, and he's one of the 5 nominees for Best Actor.
And that's going to be Sunday, huh?
Sunday at the Britannia. Then a documentary that will be of particular interest here is called, and we're having the premiere, is Big Charity, which is about Charity Hospital. There's some very rare footage that's never been seen before in the hospital. There are interviews with people. And it's not just a historical document, but there's a lot of talk about what's happened since Katrina. And it's quite a documentary. And
that's going to be also this weekend, too?
Right.
Let's see. Well, actually, more like Tuesday and Wednesday, we should point out.
And then at the Canal Place, the theaters at Canal Place, the film that I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably going to win the Oscar this year for Best Picture, Foxcatcher.
We'll remember that. Remember that
I
when
know,
you said
remember
that.
that.
Okay.
It's Foxcatcher with Channing Tatum and Mark Ruffalo and Steve Carell, who supposedly is phenomenal in the film. It's not a comic role, and it's based on a case, a historical case where the fellow who one of the DuPont family wanted to get into the wrestling racket, and what he did was he had the brother of a famous wrestler that he was going to groom to be one of the big winners in the Seoul Olympics. And things got out of hand.
Okay, and that's also next week too?
That's that's during the week. I think it's Wednesday.
On Wednesday, okay.
And then we have
or actually Tuesday, we should point out. I'm sorry, I got that date wrong here. Okay, yes.
After a while, it all flows together.
Well, we can also go to the Film Festival website for more details too.
Last night's opening night film, we were repeating black and white. This was shot in Louisiana. Kevin Costner put his own money behind it.
Wow.
It deals with a grandfather whose wife has died, and they were taking care of their granddaughter, but she's the biracial child. And the paternal grandparents decide that they are interested in having the child live with them. And the film deals. It's not a depressing movie by any means, but the conflict that involves trying to sort out the family and racial issues that are involved.
Okay, so that's Wednesday, and then for something completely different, ending up.
And I think this will really be. This will be at the Carver Theater.
Oh, that is so exciting!
And this is the closing night film.
Orleans.
It's The Big Beat. and it's basically a documentary about Fats Domino and Dave Bartholomew and the early days of rock and roll. I mean, they were rhythm and blues artists, but they were the big crossover artists who helped really bring in rock and roll. And Cosimo Matasa's in the film too.
Good.
So that should be great.
I understand Rick Coleman, who spent so many years putting together the biography of Fats Domino, is also involved.
Yeah.
And Joe Lauro,
Right.
who is Mr. Historic Footage, nationally known.
Right.
So that sounds like
That's
a good combination.
He's the director, yeah.
But you've got to be proud looking back. That's next Thursday, of course. But you've got to be so proud looking back at 25 years, John.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. You know, there were some points where we wondered, is this going to continue? But now we have a very good staff. I have to say that people that I work with now, Jolene Pinder is the executive director, and Clint Bowie, who's like a program director. I just amazed at the amount of energy they have and the dedication they bring to it.
And you all do things year-round, too, which
We
I
do
think is
things
exciting.
year-round, yeah. It's not just the festival.
Right. Congratulations,
Well,
Sean.
thank you.
And we turn to Alan, and with an update, finally.
Oh,
huh?
yes. The people of Jefferson Parish are going to be receiving an early holiday package very soon, and it'll be a gift that keeps on giving. I'm talking about the soon-to-be-open Jefferson Performing Arts Center, and, of course, that's on Airline Drive, right next to Zephyr Stadium. The beauty of this structure is hidden from driving on Airline because the box-like facade is probably the worst part of the whole structure, and that's the part you see from Airline Drive. But it's a really beautiful, modern performing arts facility with architectural highlights, a truly functional design, and it'll make this a showcase place for JPAS and other shows that'll be rolling in there. Contractor Joe Calderera yesterday gave me a personal tour to show the progress that's been made, and it's a long time coming. A lot of cost overruns, of course, and a lot of changes in design have been added on, but the construction is nearly finished. As a matter of fact, the term he used is substantially complete. That's a legal term, he tells me, and it can be now used to note that except for a few cosmetic flourishes and a few design changes that have been added since the original construction was started, that the center is pretty much ready to start its purpose of what it was supposed to be serving.
Now, Dennis Asaf, though, will have his season in there.
Yes,
soon?
we're gonna explain that too. Yeah. And look how the sunlight pours in from the side there. It's
pretty.
really beautiful. And it's a shame that part of the complex faces away from Airline, though. And again, look inside the auditorium.
Oh, wow.
This is taken from back. You can see that it has a pit there for the orchestra underneath, and wide wings for the show. It really is a modern, state-of-the-art affair. The auditorium will actually have space for 1,100 patrons, and I dare say this facility will rival many of the spaces here in New Orleans, in Orleans Parish. Again, this is going to be open and ready for JPS to start moving in very soon, and I'm sure that Dennis, the artistic director at JPS, can't wait to move in. As he said, it's up to the politicians and God, not necessarily in that order.
Well, I understand that SMG, who runs the arena, will be operating.
Right, exactly.
Is that correct?
And by the way, that was the last shot was of the seats. The seats are beautiful cushioned seats. And those of you who are accustomed to those hard wooden seats at Jefferson,
yes, that's a big deal.
Yes, at Jefferson High School, East Jefferson High School, they'll definitely be happy with that. So again, that's all happening at the soon-to-be-open facility, and I was glad to get in there and see that. Now, in New Orleans proper, we have the Trek A Go-Go Mid-City Theater. Owing to the success of the Shakespeare Star Wars series, those readings that they had at Mid-City Theater a few months ago, Mid-City Theater has decided to embark on a new enterprise. That's right, the final frontier. Relive the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, its 90-minute mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations with old scripts, to split infinitives and boldly go where no theater patron has gone before. Yes, indeed. What makes it so interesting, though, is that the audience is literally in the captain's chair. They get to select each one of the episodes that's going to be basically played that night and which of the actors are going to portray what.
Oh.
So it really makes it kind of fresh and interesting. And some of the Big Easy Award-winning actors that are going to be involved: Yvette Hargis, Joe Siebert, Cammie West, Jake Bartouche, Carrie Cahill, and Amanda Zerkenbach. That's at the Mid-City Theater. I would suggest you get there because it's usually going to be very, very packed and a lot of fun. Tickets are only $15 too. Also, at the Mid-City Theater, playwright Jim Fitzmaurice is going to be returning. Now, Jim Fitzmaurice loves Halloween more than any other holiday on the calendar, and that'll be right up with you, I'm certain, Sallie Ann. But again, if you have any reason to doubt that statement, you need to check him out on the return of the performance that he'll have of The Island of Dr. Fitzmaurice. Jim will regale you with tales of terror from his childhood. He'll torture you with humor throughout that entire night, and his bone-chilling performance will make you just another victim of his insane and tortured soliloquy. Just go, my friends, but be warned, you might end up loving Halloween just as much as Jim does.
When is this? When is this? Oh, okay.
It's going to be this Saturday, October the 25th, of course, coming up, and then at 2 showings at Mid-City Theater, October 29th and 30th for those of us on this side of the lake. And that last performance, by the way, will be a performance that will benefit Pandora Gastelum and the Mudlark Theater.
Oh.
That theater burned, as you know, very, very heavily damaged in a fire back in the summertime. So Jim's sort of making that sort of his pet project. And again, for those of you who are interested in the more classical things that might be around town, Beethoven and Blue Jeans, the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra, is going to be playing under the baton of the maestro who actually last week was Maestro Robert Leal with that spectacular Carmen that we had with our homegrown hero Brian Heimel. But this weekend is going to be the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra playing Beethoven and Blue Jeans, Beethoven Symphony No. 7. I want to remind you that it's going to be in Hammond tomorrow night or in Slidell on Sunday night. Tickets are really affordable, $20 to $35.
And you can wear blue jeans.
You can.
Okay, thank you. And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we're featuring 3 works of art in 2 different exhibits. The first is Following the Muse by Ali Golkar. Born in what was then Persia, Golkar has been a U.S. citizen for over 40 years. He is represented locally by Martin Lawrence Gallery on Royal Street. His exhibit of new works, Spirituality in New Orleans, opens tomorrow with a reception from 6 to 8 p.m. Visit martinlawrence.com for more information. Next, we have 2 photographs. The first is Spacewalker 1984 by Robert Gibson, who photographed fellow astronaut Bruce McCandless in a February 1984. Imagine, look at this, a flight when he became the first person to fly untethered in space. The second is Walk Through Paradise Garden 1946. This timeless photo by Eugene Smith was his first photograph after being injured in World War II while taking photographs. Both are part of the exhibit Where? The Exploration of Photographs in Place 1843 to 2014 at a gallery of fine photography on Charter Street. In conjunction with the Prospect Point 3 exhibits around town, it opens next week with the receptions Thursday and Saturday evenings. Visit egallery.com for more on that. And visit WYES.org to see our online calendar, to see our lineup of events, including a lineup for the annual Nicola Dance Jazz Soiree Series. And you can go to WYES.org to see our program online, too. New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Dean Good gave us the name of the bayou the lagoon that runs alongside City Park's casino building was once part of, and the historic oak that stands nearby, Bayou Metairie and the McDonough Oak. Now, tonight's question. In honor of the Halloween season, Morgus the Magnificent was an early local television madman. What was the character's full name, and where did he live? Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a Louisiana Live magazine subscription, a gift certificate for 2 courtesy of Vianne's Tea House, offering their culinary and gourmet tea experience. And tonight we have a T-shirt as worn by our WYES intern, Burke Bischoff, with the message, Sriracha happens, from our friends at wearablevegetables.com. And now our picks. Sallie Ann, one more pick here? Anything else to promote?
Actually, the following week, on the 23rd, I think, I'm giving a lecture as part of the New Orleans Athletic Club's lecture series, and I'll be talking about voodoo.
And you also have your Island of Salvation Botanica on a regular basis?
Every day. We're always open.
Every day, okay.
Come check us out for your candles.
All right, very good. And Hot Poppy.
Oh, well, if you haven't been, go down to Sallie Ann's neighborhood for the St. Claude Food Truck Park, 6 till 9, Thursday through Saturday through November 8th. There's food trucks, there's music. That's on the corner of St. Claude at Feliciana Street.
All right, John.
Surprise. The New Orleans Film Festival running through October 23rd.
Of course.
Big surprise. Louis Fest. Now, many of the friends of former realtor and bicycle enthusiast as well as musician Louis Letterman are gathering this Sunday afternoon after the Saints game for Louis Fest. It's going to be at the spot which was Jimmy's Music Club, originally called The Willow, 8200 Willow Street. Lots of brass bands. Bone Tone, his band, will be playing, and it'll benefit Teen Life Counts.
He was a special guy.
Yes, he was.
He really was. All righty, and now my picks. Don't miss the French Markets Halloween and Harvest Fest Boo Carré. That's tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, we've got this weekend the Crescent City Blues and Barbecue Festival. That's in Lafayette Square, Saturday and Sunday. That sounds like a great event, and I just love how intimate that area is too. It's really a great space. So we've got that, and you can go to the website that you see on the screen. And looking ahead, NPR presents Water Plus Minus, a live theatrical event exploring the world's delicate and volatile relationship with water. And it's so intriguing. It's music, it's poetry, it's many things. It's lots of special effects, all of this at the Sanger. That's October the 25th at 8 p.m. And you can learn more at WWNO.org. And now we leave you with scenes from the New Orleans Opera's production last week. It was incredible, of Carmen last weekend, and it was photographed by Craig Kramer. And thank you all so very much, and thanks for watching. Good night.
Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes for Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes for Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.